So YieldMax Group 2 announced their distributions today. So we're going to take a look at those. And just FYI, I have not looked at them yet. So this will be my first viewing of those. And I also have an announcement sheet for a few for the RoundHill ones that I received today as well. Hello my friends, this is Legend. So today we're going to take a look at the YieldMax Group 2 announcements. And this is for the October 29th Group 2. And this Group 2 is the single stock ETFs that have now gone weekly. The X date will be October 30th and the pay date will be the 31st, which is Friday. So let's just go ahead and jump right in and let's just see what we're going to get. But before we do that, let's just take a look at my MSTY spreadsheet and let's just see how much I need before I get my shares paid off so that I know what that goal is and how many more distributions I'm going to need. All right, so here we are on my spreadsheet and you can see my real price per share currently is 29 cents. So that is how much I have left before I have my shares paid off. Now I'll update this sheet this weekend, but I just wanted to show and for myself to see how much I need before that gets paid off. All right, so let's just jump right into it and let's just start them off right here with the YieldMax Group 2. And we'll start off with ABNY for 10 cents. AIYY with 3 cents. AMD with 23 cents. Yes, right? Very nice. That's 119% distribution rate for AMD. Very, very nice. AMZ with 20 cents, and that's a 72% distribution rate. Aptly with 13 cents. Babo with 25 cents, and that's an 81% distribution rate. Very nice. BRKC with 15 cents. Coney with 13 cents, and that's a 104% distribution rate. Very nice on Coney. And so far, I have AMD and Coney both. And with both of them over 100% distribution rate, I'll take it. CRCO with $1.07. That's a 121% distribution rate. Very nice on CRCO. I haven't really looked into this one, and I haven't really heard a whole lot about it. Does anybody else out there, do y'all have CRCO? Like I said, I really haven't paid it much attention. It is one of the newer ones, but that's $1 for a week. Not too shabby. Crash with 4 cents. And that's the short on Tesla, and that's an 81% distribution rate. CVNY was 72 cents at a 101% distribution rate. Very nice, right? Dips, 4 cents, and that's the short on NVIDIA, and I don't think I could ever short NVIDIA personally, because to me, NVIDIA is just a banger of a stock, right? And it also went up today too, as it has been for the last few days, right? DISO for 8 cents. Dre with 33 cents. Not too shabby. FBY with 15 cents. FIAT with 3 cents. And again, that's another short, and that's on Coinbase. I'm just not one to short these, but I'm sure there's others out there who are in these, and maybe you're doing just fine. But I'm just not one to short some of these stocks that I just think are just going to continue to move up. GDXY with 14 cents. GMEY with 53 cents. And that's a 60% distribution rate. GUI with 13 cents. HIYY with 75 cents. And that's a 101% distribution rate. Very nice on that one, right? There's Hui with $1.34, and that's a 101% distribution rate. Now, I have been watching Hui, and I was waiting for it to come down, but this week so far has just not been that week for anything to move down much. except just to take a breather before taking back off. At least that's the way it's been for a lot of the stocks I've been watching. Let me know if you're experiencing that as well. Just like Google today, right? After earnings, what a nice pop, right? Then you got Broadcom and you got Palantir, all of them just moving on up. Unstoppable, it seems like. JPMO with 13 cents. And sorry about this. This one here got cut off on my sheet. But Morrow for 33 cents. And that's a 103% distribution rate. Marnie with 3 cents. That's a 101% distribution rate. And that's just because Marnie price is so low that 3 cents is 101% of that distribution rate is not necessarily a great thing, right? That just means that price has to be very low. MSFO with 11 cents. And the one that I've been waiting for to see how much we're going to get so that I can update that spreadsheet is, of course, MSTY. And MSTY earned 19 cents. All right, that's an 85% distribution rate. Now, I know last week we did earn 21 cents, and this week we earned 19 cents. But you also have to understand that Mr. also went down, right? So I'll take that 19 cents, apply that to my spreadsheet, and move my real price per average on down. So I'm hoping to be able to get mine paid off within next week, hopefully, right? We'll see how close I can get, but I don't see it taking more than 2 more weeks, and that's my opinion. So I'm super excited, cannot wait, but I will show you what my real price per share is when I update that sheet this weekend. Oh, so excited. Cannot wait for next week. Neptly with 12 cents. NVIDIA with 18 cents. That's a 56% distribution rate. And I have NVIDIA, so that one I'll be able to add to the sheet as well. OARC with 14 cents. Platy with $1.24. That's what I'm talking about. That's a 101% distribution rate. And I have some Platy, so I'll be able to add that to my sheet as well. Bringing down that real price per share week by week now, since that we're getting paid out weekly. What an exciting time, right? Very excited. Like I said, Palantir has been going up. So hopefully we can keep this $1.24 area for a little while. That would be super nice. PYPY with 13 cents. RBLY with 50 cents. RDYY with $1.03, and that's a 125% distribution rate. And that's off of Reddit. I do not have this one, but that's a nice distribution. So congrats for those out there who have RDYY. SMCY with 25 cents. I do have SMCY, so I'll be able to add that one to my list as well for updating my spreadsheets. Snowy with 31 cents, and that's a 101% distribution rate. Very nice. Tesla, 11 cents. TSMY with 15 cents. Winter with 59 cents. That's a 100% distribution rate. Very nice on Winter. And Winter is one of those shorts, and Winter is, of course, on Mr. So you can kind of say it's the opposite of MSTY. Because Mr. is coming down, Winter currently is doing pretty good. But if it does start moving up, then I would expect to see Winter dropping and MSTY increasing on the distribution. But we'll see as the weeks go. Zomo with 8 cents. XYZY with 15 cents. YBIT, 13 cents. YQQQ with 4 cents. And that's another one of those shorts. And that wraps it up for the YieldMax ones here. But I do have a few for RoundHill, so I want to go ahead and go through those real quick here. All right, so here we are on the RoundHill ones. Now these will go X on the 30th, which is Thursday, and will pay out on the 31st, being Friday. So in this group, there is XDTE for 25 cents, QDTE 23 cents, and RDTE for 24 cents. I have XDTE and I have QDTE. So I'll be able to update the sheets with those distributions as well. So I'll be able to update all of my sheets come this weekend. And like I said, the one I'm most excited about is MSTY, of course. But of course, that Palantir is looking super nice, right? Super excited about that one as well. And if we want to take a quick look here on the charts for MSTY, you can see we are a bit low, right? We got as low as $11.24. We were moving up for a bit and then we just fell back down, right? But why did we fall down? Well, it's because Mr. came down, right? We're just basically following what Mr. does in a sense. If Mr's moving up in the chart, MSTY moves up. If Mr. comes down, MSTY comes down. But why is Mr. coming down? And that would be Bitcoin right here. Bitcoin went up and then Bitcoin came down, right? So you kind of have to understand that MSTY cannot do anything more than its underlying, and its underlying being Mr. And Mr. is going to follow along with Bitcoin, not dollar for dollar, of course, but it does overall follow that same path. If Bitcoin is moving up, you have a good chance that Mr's moving up. And if Mr's moving up, then MSTY is moving up. But of course, as Mr's moving down, not only MSTY is moving down, but you can see MSTW is also moving down, right? They all follow MSTR, and if MSTR is moving down, so are the high yield ETFs that use Mr. as the underlying. Now you can see right over here on the side for Mr. it dropped 3.26%. Whew, ouch. MSTY dropped 3.01%, so not quite as far down as Mr. And we've noticed that a couple times already, whereas Mr. dropped more than MSTY dropped. So MSTY did not fall down as much as Mr. because MSTY fell 3.1 and Mr. fell 3.26. But how far down did MSTW fall? It fell 3.54. Now it fell down the most because MSTW is leveraged. Okay, so it's leveraged to MSTR. So as you can see on MSTR, it fell 3.26, and therefore MSTW fell 3.54. So it fell further than MSTR and definitely further than MSTY because MSTY is not leveraged. Now, of course, if MSTR does move up, then that's where that leverage side is going to help you, right? Because it should move up more than what MSTR does. And it definitely should move up more than MSTY. Nothing's guaranteed, of course, but that is the idea. And the reason why you would be in MSTW because of that leverage, hoping to be able to move up quicker. But the one thing to note and to remember is these high yield ETFs are not growth stocks, okay? We're not in them really to get growth off of it. And that's price growth is what I mean. They're not really built like that. They're really built to try to pay out high distributions, right? That's what they're really for. And if you play it right, you can use those distributions to help pay off your investment so that you can get it paid off and then start earning an income from those distributions. Because at that point, then, since you have all of your investment paid back to you in the way of the distribution, then you no longer have any risk as all of those shares you still own are now paid for through that fund, whether it be MSTY or MSTW, so that when you get paid that next distribution and those distributions after that, those are all income and 100% income coming into your pocket, right? Now you can do what you want to with it. You can reinvest it at that point. You can invest it into something different, or you can just pull that money out, pay bills, go on vacation, whatever it is you want to do, because it is your weekly income, assuming that there would be a distribution for that week. But as the website states, we're not guaranteed a distribution. So always want to make sure that you're aware of that. Nothing is guaranteed. But since these are not growth stocks, you really don't want to get into these thinking that I'll buy in at $23.50, and when this thing moves back up to 40 bucks, boy, I'm going to be sitting nice, right? And it could, right? I'm not saying it won't, and I'm not saying it couldn't. I'm just saying that these are really built to pay out these distributions down here, okay? Not necessarily the price appreciation. The price appreciation is a nice little bonus, right? What you're looking for, if you're into these high yield ETFs, you're looking for that high yield, and that high yield being the distribution. What we would like to see is to get a good distribution and for that price to stay flat to up, right? Best case scenario, you get a good distribution and the price moves up, right? Of course, that's the best case. Another good case would be the price stays flat and you get a good distribution. The okay case would be the price comes down a little, but those distributions are paying out more than that price is dropping. And a not so good case would be the price is dropping and the distribution is dropping as well. So that's kind of the different cases and the different possibilities you have here. But for these high yield ETFs, I really think for me, I'm looking for that price to stay flat or to move up and to have a good distribution, right? One that is reasonable enough that that price can stay flat, okay? Because if I can stay a flat price, then it's holding that price and I'm earning that distribution. That's helping to lower my real price per share so that I can eventually get this thing paid off. And if you didn't see my video yesterday comparing MSTY with MSTW, you can check that out right here. I'll link it and you can watch that video. And there are bookmarks so you can jump right up to where I'm comparing the two, as the first part of it was just the announcements for Group 1, okay? So you can jump right up to that comparison between MSTY and Mr. if you're not interested in the Group 1 announcements. But you can check out that video if you are interested. But I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. If you don't mind, hit that subscribe button and smash the like button. It'd be much appreciated. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, Legend out.